Okay, the time is 5:45. We'll call this meeting of the Newark City Council Finance Committee to order. Members present are Ryan Bubb, Jeff Harris, Jonathan Lang, Mark Labutus in for Doug Marmey, and then myself, Jeremy Blake. We do have a few pieces of legislation on our agenda this evening, and the first is to consider resolution number 2118 expedite, a resolution appropriating monies for the current expenses of the municipal corporation. And this first section is dealing with law enforcement supplies. Who's speaking to this tonight? I think you're muted, Director.
I'm speaking to, we have a payout for a retiree.
I'm so, Kevin Saad, I'm sorry. Is his audio not working?
Oh, it says it's not working. Yeah.
Okay. So we just, it says it's for Scram units. So is there anything additional that you might want to let the committee know about it maybe? I don't know if he knows how to use the chat feature.
We have the chat feature turned off, but Kevin, I think, was about to writing.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kevin. Can you read, anyone read that?
Yeah, it looks like it says hospital cutoff.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Technology. Well, we'll, okay. Well, let's go ahead and is there a motion to send this on to full council?
So move.
I'll make a second. Second.
Second by Labutus, and then who was the motion? Bub. Okay. Any further comments or questions regarding this? All those in favor of moving this on to full council, thumbs up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, thank you. Sorry that your audio wasn't working, but thank you for being here. Okay, section 2 of this resolution is dealing with the payout of an employee. And now we have Director Hickman.
Yes, sir, that'll be mine. We have a police sergeant who'll be retiring, and this will be his payout.
Okay. Is
I'll
there
offer
a
a motion.
Second.
Motion, Mr. Bubb, second, Mr. Labutus. Any questions or comments for Director Hickman? Seeing none, all those in favor of moving this on to full council signify by thumbs up. Okay, all opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. And thank you, Director Hickman. All right. So now we have resolution number 2119, a resolution authorizing and directing the mayor of the city of Newark to apply for funding for the United States Department of Justice Bureau of Justice Assistance under the Bulletproof Visit Partnership Grant Program.
Yes, sir, this would be mine also. It is a 50% reimbursement grant for the purchase of bulletproof vests for the police, fire, and probation departments.
I'll offer a motion.
Motion by Mr. Bubb to move to full council, send to full council.
Second.
Second, Mr. Labutus. Any questions or comments for Director Hickman? Seeing none, all those in favor of moving this on to full council, thumbs up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you again, Director Hickman.
Thank you.
Okay. I think that's the 3 pieces of legislation that we had on our agenda. But I believe, Director Motter, were you going to present during finance? On the,
I'm sorry.
were you planning to present during finance regarding the COVID dollars?
The plan was, Jeremy, to present it during the full council meeting.
Oh, okay.
And
Cool.
I had conversation with Don Ellington Friday, and he was to get back with me and to determine when he wanted to have that brought before council and give Debbie Tegmeyer and I a chance to speak to it.
Okay, well, I'll leave that for Don then. So,
All right, thank you. Thank you.
all right. So seeing no further business before the Finance Committee, we are adjourned. And up next is service.
Okay, we'll call the Service Committee meeting to order. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
Great. Those present are myself, Rath, Jeff Harris, Jeremy Blake, Ryan Bubb, Spencer Barker. Up first, we consider ordinance number 21-09, an ordinance changing the zoning classification of certain real property generally described as 19 East Street, City of Newark, Licking County, Ohio, from that of TFR, two-family residence district, to MFR, multifamily residence district, zoning code of the City of Newark, Ohio. Mr. Moorhead, are you speaking on this?
Yeah, I'll speak to it. This is just a request that came to us through zoning from the property owner, wishes to change the use of the property there at 19 East Street to allow them to have multifamily residential in that property. So I don't really have any other details to add, but if there's any questions, I'll try to answer them.
All right, obviously this will go to Planning Commission and then back to council.
Correct.
I'll offer a motion.
So we have a motion
Second.
on the floor by Bub, seconded by Barker. Any questions on the issue? See no questions. All those in favor of passing this on to council signify with a thumbs up. All opposed, same sign. That'll pass forward to council with a vote of 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Moorhead. Up next, we'll consider ordinance number 21-10, an ordinance changing the zoning classification of certain real property generally described as 774 Hudson Avenue, City of Newark, Licking County, Ohio, from that of LB, Limited Intensity Business District, to MB, Medium Intensity Business District, zoning code of the City of Newark. Excuse
I'll
me,
speak to that one as well.
Mr. Moorhead.
Thank you. This also came from the property owner. Our understanding is that he wishes to do automotive repair at this location, and he's not permitted to do the type of work that he wishes to under the LB district. So he's asking for a change to the MB district.
I'll offer a motion.
And this will go on to council and then on to Planning Commission. Do we have any
Second.
questions from the committee? I think my screen froze for a minute. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Jeff, can you not hear us? Yeah, you
All right,
just,
looks like we have a motion by Bob.
Yep.
And a second by Barker. And I am having some connectivity issues. Gotta love the hotel. All in favor, signify with a thumbs up. All opposed, same sign. And motion will carry forward with a vote of 5-0. Up next, we'll consider ordinance number 21-11, an ordinance consenting to the annexation of certain territory, generally described as being approximately 55.5 acres, more or less, located in Newark Township to the city of Newark, Ohio, and declaring an emergency. Mr. Sassen.
I will address the next 5 pieces of legislation all together because they all relate to the same issue. They're not before your committee tonight for purposes of a vote. They're here for purposes of discussion, question and answer, if any, only because committee tends to facilitate that process better than full council. They're going to appear on the agenda of full council tonight pursuant to Rule 11. The reason that they will be here pursuant to Rule 11 with the approval of both Mr. Blake and Mr. Marmee, who have provided that consent. Mr. Marmee not being here, but he did provide that consent in writing, which I believe he shared with all of council. I think Jeremy can confirm that he has indeed done that. The reason that they are here as an emergency and as Rule 11 is because this is a single property owner annexation and it is filed as an expedited 2 annexation, which means that 3 of these pieces of legislation need to be dealt with by council within 20 days of our receipt, and the other needs to be dealt with within 25 days of our receipt of the information from the county commissioners. Today is, I believe, the 19th day after our receipt, so we need to act upon this legislation tonight to meet our statutory deadlines. As a reminder to everyone, I think we've all been through this before, but if you look at ordinances 21-11 and 21-12, they are mirror opposites of each other. One is a consent to the annexation, one is an object to the annexation. And as you recall, I like to do this because it gives council a meaningful opportunity to object if they so desire. Obviously, we can't pass both of those. So if it's council's wish to consent to this annexation, it would move forward on 21-11, and 21-12 would die for lack of a motion. The other pieces of legislation are companion legislation with regard to highway maintenance responsibilities and buffer zones, and a statement to the property owner of what services are available if indeed they do annex into the city. Those are fairly ministerial that come along with this process should council agree to consent. Procedurally, those are my comments. If you have any questions procedurally, I know we've all been through this before. We're not going to vote on it here in committee, but if you have any questions with regard to procedure, I'll be glad to answer those. I also know that the applicant and his attorney are here tonight if you have any questions of them. If you have any questions procedurally, I'll be happy to answer those if I can. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sassen. So at this point in time, if you have any questions on 21-12, 21-13, 21-16, 21-17, 21-14. Scratch 21-14. Stop it at 21-17. If anybody has any questions on those, this would be the time to do so. Do you have any questions, comments, or concerns?
I'll offer a motion.
There are no motions to be offered at this time, since we're not voting.
I'm sorry.
Committee,
Yeah, I'm
it's
sorry.
going straight to council. We'll go 11.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yep. All right, no questions, no comments, no concerns. I see none. With that, we will move along to.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sassen. We will move along to ordinance 21-14, an ordinance approving the editing and inclusion of certain ordinances and resolutions as parts of the various component codes of the codified ordinances, providing for the adoption of new matter in the updated and revised codified ordinances, repealing ordinances and resolutions in conflict therewith, and declaring an emergency. This sounds like language Mr. Sassen would address. You have the floor,
Right.
sir.
You are correct. This is our standard annual legislation to update our published ordinances, which we are required to do. They're published in print, and various offices get a copy of that. They're also updated online. We do that every year. Requires action of council. It's an emergency in this case, as it always is, to meet the publisher's deadlines to ensure that our ordinances are updated in a timely fashion.
Very good. Do we have any questions, comments, or concerns? Mr. Blake?
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Director Sassen. I just wanted to inquire about on the Exhibit A of the legislation. It sort of spells out. I'm just curious about the different. It looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 8 different areas that it's changing. So is that from when the legislature may have made a change and not necessarily council, or because it's talking about earphones while driving and displays of license plates and things of that nature? I was just curious of where that's coming from.
It's actually a combination of both. It will be things that are required by state statute to update our ordinances, and also ordinances that have been passed by city council. So I can't speak to each individual one of them. I'm kind of scrolling through my iPad now to kind of find it, but it's the simple answer to your question is it's a combination of both.
Okay.
Very good. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Do we have a motion?
I'll offer a motion.
Motion by Bub,
Second.
seconded by Barker. Any further questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of passing this on to council signify with a thumbs up. All opposed, same sign. That motion will carry forward with a vote of 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Sassen again. Next, we will consider resolution 21-20, a resolution authorizing the conveyance of certain real property now owned by the city of Newark, Ohio to Newark Development Partners as its agent for industrial, commercial distribution and research. I believe Mr. Rhodes will be speaking on this tonight.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, thank you. This is the site of the property that was formerly known as the Pink House. If you remember, years back, we tore that house down. That lot's been vacant ever since then. Newark Development Partners is putting together lot combinations for potential redevelopment. That's another artery into the downtown area. And we want to transfer this piece of property to Newark Development Partners so they can hopefully put together a nice development there. As always, when the property sells, the city does get a little bit of money back.
Sounds good. Do we have any questions?
I'll offer a motion.
Motion by Bub,
Second.
seconded by Barker. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Mr. Blake.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Director Rhodes, I'm curious about when we transfer this land. We recently read in the Newark Advocate about the discussion of changing the downtown boundary. Will that be coming before? What's the timeline of when that legislation will be coming?
That's a fair question. I would say relatively soon. To answer your question, it's something that we've been working on for a period of time, as well as we worked with the ward councilman, myself and another fellow met with Sean and talked about the changes and the reasons for the changes. So I would say soon. You'll see that sooner than later. I don't want to say 2 weeks and it be 4 weeks, but pretty quick.
Thank you.
All right, seeing no other questions or comments or concerns, all those in favor of passing this on to council signify with a thumbs up. All opposed, same sign. That motion will carry forward with a vote of 5-0.
Thank you, Mr.
Rhodes. Appreciate it.
Yep.
That does conclude the Service Committee meeting, and does conclude all committee meetings for this evening. City Council will resume at 7.